off with my life till it's out with your lights. Do it all for the Christ, and he ain't playing nice. Knew the end from the start. Fix your face like it's art. The sons of a simp, call him Bart. Yeah, you did your best, played your part. But now it's time to cut you to the heart. If that's on occasion, it's the strangeness of the salvation. You see it, believe it, amazing. Them terrorists coming invasion since the creation. War, mine, Lord, bless the general. Greatest nation, eat them unequivocal. Bombs dropping, buddy, cause it's biblical. Start shit, now it's time to finish. Whoa. Said he won't vote, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world.
I can't wait for our kingdom to start and for there to be finished. Get rid of all of their idols and lying religions. Look for the crown like an Edris. Hey, this that crown talk. Wisdom of Solomon 5 talk. This that second Edris 6 and 9. We want eyes talk. It's your time to end and my time again. It's our time to win. Away with the sin. You know what it is. Rejoice with my kin. See that is why we repented. Golden streets, I can see myself in it. The city is bright, the kingdom of light. A wonderful sight past the angels, the inner light. I need 1,000 years of labor. Sit on my throne with my savior. Try to know why and press alone. He bring pain like Major. You think the nations is equal to us? TK Kirkland, who raised you? Flex on occasion, my God a racist. That's why we moving with patience. It's been a long time coming. I spent my whole life running. Now that I'm 10 toes down and established my faith on 100. Woe to the nations, my king will race them. You know they gotta be punished. Jeremiah 25. Yeah, you know they gon' fry. Whoa. Said he won't vote, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world.
Even the even, spend holy days away from the heathen. I need a break, I don't need a reason. I need a script, I don't need your grievance. Keep it to yourself, it's better for my health. Leave it on the shelf, ain't hearing nothing else. Tonight and tonight, knowing the price. Pay it off with my life, till it's out with your lights. Do it all for the Christ, and he ain't playing nice. Knew the end from the start. Fix your face like it's art. The sons of a simp, call him Bart. Yeah, you did your best, played your part. But now it's time to cut you to the heart. If that's on occasion, it's the strangeness of the salvation. You see it, believe it, amazing. Them terrorists coming invasion since the creation. War, mine, Lord, bless the general. Greatest nation, eat them unequivocal. Bombs dropping, buddy, cause it's biblical. Start shit, now it's time to finish. Whoa. Said he won't vote, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. I can't wait for our kingdom to start and for there to be finished. Get rid of all of their idols and lying religions. Look for the crown like an Edris. Hey, this that crown talk. Wisdom of Solomon 5 talk. This that second Edris 6 and 9. We want eyes talk. It's your time to end and my time again. It's our time to win. Away with the sin. You know what it is. Rejoice with my kin. See that is why we repented. Golden streets, I can see myself in it. The city is bright, the kingdom of light. A wonderful sight past the angels, the inner light.
I need 1,000 years of labor, sit on my throne with my savior. Try to know wine, press alone, he bring pain like major. You think the nations is equal to us? TK Kirkland, who raised you? Flex on occasion, my God a racist, that's why we moving with patience. It's been a long time coming, I spent my whole life running. Now that I'm 10 toes down and established my faith on 100. Woe to the nations, my king will race them, you know they gotta be punished. Jeremiah 25, yeah you know they gon' fry. Whoa!
Said he won't vote, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world.
Man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm focused, man.
It's all right.
Why would they turn the mic off?
Thumbnail was fire.
Hey, we need that applause again. I got to come back in right. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All praises. Let's go. Yes. Hey, shalom, family. Most high in Christ bless. We got the studio audience in the house. It was a beautiful thing. This is the Nehemiah squad. We're going to reintroduce ourselves again. I'm Captain Zakai.
Hey. I'm Officer Shem.
Yes, sir. I'm Officer Judah.
All praises. Hey, throw that thumbnail back up. That thumbnail was crazy, but y'all took like 30 pounds off of me when y'all
Right.
that
That was
the look. This the 8th grade version.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They got you looking like Jax off Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. All right, all praises. Today, put that back up. Put the static one back up because we just got to read it, whichever one y'all putting up. I don't care. Just so we can read the title and all that. All right, so today our show is going to be the Tuskegee Legacy, more than just pilots. All right, and today we're going to be discussing. That's why I want the static one. I want to make sure we say his name correctly and all that, brothers. Please put that back. All right, thank you. Lieutenant Colonel James A. Walker is going to be the subject of our conversation tonight. We're going to be talking to his son, Kenneth Walker, right? But before we introduce him, bring up the number one in the class content. We just want to go through these things with y'all real quick, talk about the Tuskegee Airmen, because a lot of people don't really know about them. You know, as we move further away from their time out there, people forget, right? People forget, so we got to bring it back. Bring up number one, y'all. Number one. Okay, so now, scroll up. All right. Officer Matthias, go ahead.
All right. The Tuskegee Airmen were a group of primarily African-American military pilots, fighter and bomber, and airmen who fought in World War II. They formed the 332nd Fighter Group and the 477th Bombardment Group Medium of the United States Army Air Forces. The name also applies to the navigators, bombardiers, mechanics, instructors, crew chiefs, nurses, cooks, and other support personnel.
Stop there for a second. So and keep that up. But everybody who is of the support staff is known as the Tuskegee Airmen, right? That's the title of everybody who's down with the program. Go ahead.
The Tuskegee Airmen received praise for their excellent combat record earned while protecting American bombers from enemy fighters. The group was awarded 3 distinguished unit citations.
Right. Okay, so that's just the overview. Now bring up number 5. Bring up number 5. Because in the beginning you had it was the 5 pilots, and they were known as the Tuskegee 5. They were the ones that set it off, right? But there was many others that were in the group. It was like 992 of them, but these first 5. So let's bring that up real quick. Let's read that.
The term Tuskegee 5 refers to the first 5 black pilots to receive their wings and become official U.S. Army Air Force pilots during World War II.
Right.
Trained at Tuskegee University in Alabama.
Right. So that's why they were called the Tuskegee Airmen, because they were actually training at Tuskegee University in Alabama. Click show more and read off their names. Should be the first five pilots. Go down to 5 pilots. Go ahead.
All right. Charles DeBow Jr., assigned to the 99th Fighter Squadron and deployed to North Africa, flying 51 combat missions.
All right, you can just read the names.
Okay. Benjamin O. Davis Jr.
Go ahead.
George Spanky Roberts.
Go ahead.
Elmer D. Jones, Dudley Stevenson, James Johnson, Nelson Brooks, William R. Thompson.
Right. And so bring up number 4, because they made a movie about them. All right, so if anybody wants to go and watch the movie, you know how movies are. They can't catch everything, but it's still a good understanding of what actually was going on at the time. We're going to be playing a couple of those clips later tonight, but just show that poster. All right? So we got our brother Lawrence Fishburne. He was playing the main character in it, which was the first name that was read out of those 5. And so this is a good movie, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If y'all get a chance, they even have it on YouTube, so y'all can go check that out. All right? And now bring up clip number 3. Not clip, but number 3. All right, so we're going to get to our guest in a second, but we want to bring up Lieutenant Colonel James Alonzo Walker and read off a couple of his accolades. Y'all got that, brothers? Come on. Slow motion. All right. All right, go ahead.
All right. This is James Alonzo Walker, born September 20th, 1918. Oh, hold on, I missed that. Go back. Born September 20th, 1918 to August 23rd, 2004. Born in Manning, South Carolina, Walker attended high school in Baltimore, Maryland, and graduated from Hampton Institute in Hampton, Virginia. Walker trained at the Tuskegee Army Airfield and was assigned to the 332nd Fighter Group, whose major responsibility was escorting bombers.
Right, we're going to be looking into that a little bit later. Go ahead.
After flying more than 80 missions, Walker's P-51 fighter plane was shot down over Yugoslavia in July 1944. In enemy territory, he was confronted by an armed teenager named Alexander Zivkovic.
Alexander Zivkovic.
Luckily, the young man was a partisan who helped downed flyers escape capture.
Right. So you had that man from Yugoslavia, the young man, and he helped the lieutenant colonel escape. Go ahead.
Walker returned to duty in just 39 days thanks to Zivkovic's help, and he had the rare chance to thank his rescuer 50 years later when he ran into Zivkovic at a Tuskegee Airmen convention in Chicago. After a distinguished 26-year military career with service in 102 missions, Lieutenant Colonel Walker started working at Wells Fargo in 1965, starting as a loan officer in Hayward, California.
All right, so we're going to stop there. All right, so now he went into that line of work in Hayward, California. We know that's not too far from us right here. And so now we want to bring out his son, our brother, Kenneth Walker. Where you at, bro? Give us applause. Louder. Let's go.
Where we at?
How you doing, brother?
All right, Captain. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Good. Excellent.
You guys just told the whole story, man.
No, we just wanted to make sure that we get the crowd, everybody, to know what exactly is going on.
All right.
So Kenneth, man, take it from the beginning, you know.
I want to start with something to kind of preface what we're going to discuss tonight.
Okay.
And kind of set the stage. So I want you all to listen to this and marinate on it as we go through the Tuskegee story and my father's story.
Absolutely.
But back in 1925, there was a war study done. This was after the First World War. I'm gonna read to you a segment from that study. The study recognized that blacks were inferior to whites in mental capacity. So, in the process of evolution, the American Negro was not progressed as far as other subspecies of the human family.
Damn.
As a race, he was not developed leadership qualities. His mental inferiority and the inherent weakness of his character are factors that must be considered with great care in the preparation of any plan for his employment in the war. This report came out in 1925, 100 years ago from today, but only 15 years before World War II.
Right.
But after World War I. And the reports, it set the tone for Black men treated in the military until the Tuskegee experiment. Now, I also want you to bear in mind that in World War I, there was a regiment out of New York that came to be known as the Harlem Hellfighters.
Oh, that's right.
That actually performed exponentially well in World War I and were awarded and recognized. However, those awards and recognitions were done in France, not in the U.S. So the Germans actually gave them the name Hellfighter because of their bravery, their courage, and their perseverance during that war. So I just wanted to plant that seed so y'all can think about as we go through these stories.
That's right.
Before 1940, African Americans were barred from flying in the U.S. military. Why? Because of the study. One, they allegedly lacked the agility, the dexterity, and the intelligence to operate a plane. But under pressure from Black media, the NAACP, in 1941, President Roosevelt opened up civil flying training schools at 6 Black universities, one being Tuskegee and the other being Hampton, where my father went to school.
That's right.
And then after Eleanor Roosevelt actually visited Tuskegee and took a flight with one of the airmen, she went back and further pressured Roosevelt to start training these Negro airmen for war.
That's right. Hey, Kenneth, real quick, I read about
Go
that.
ahead.
I read about that when she flew one of the flyers at that time, one of the pilots, and I heard she was getting a lot of flack for that. For
Yes,
actually, yeah, I heard they were on her head. They were angry that she did that.
There was a bunch of pushback.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, Kenneth. I'm sorry.
So that's okay, no problem. I mean, feel free to interrupt at any point you got any questions,
Yes, sir.
and we'll take it from there. So Roosevelt initiated this plan, and it became known as the Noble Experiment, or the Tuskegee Experiment. And it was put together to see if Negroes could fly. But if you talk to most people, it was actually put together to prove that Negroes could not fly. So it was set up for them to fail. They were given more stringent rules to pass the training than white pilots were given.
That's right.
And made it more difficult. I'm sure you've had this conversation. We've had it with our kids about us as Blacks having to be better than our white counterparts in order to be considered equal.
Right. I heard it was like a 10% difference in what they were considering like a washout, meaning that they wouldn't make the team, so to speak, make the squadron. And
exactly.
So right.
When it first started, Black fighter pilots, the washout rate was less than the white counterparts.
That's right.
So they increased the level of difficulty to get that washout rate up. For those of you who don't know what washout means, that means you basically failed the class, the training class. But there were so many other needs, like you said, the support groups, that those people still were able to stay on and do other things if they didn't get their cadet wings.
Right. Okay.
So I want to get into my father, and then we'll get back to Tuskegee. So my father, James Alonzo Walker, he was born in September 1918 in Manning, South Carolina, to a brick mason and a school teacher of the segregated schools in South Carolina. Now, in South Carolina at that time, you could only go to school to the 10th grade. And that's why my father had to relocate to Baltimore, Maryland to finish high school. Wow. From there, he went on to Hampton University. He majored in business, and got his degree in business construction. His vision then was to return to South Carolina and start a business with his father and his cousin, because he didn't want to work for somebody. He wanted to work for himself. In the meantime, since he graduated in 41 and Roosevelt opened up the civil pilots training program, he was actually challenged by a girlfriend to take that class. So he took it, and of course he passed it. He got his civil license, civil pilot's license in 1941, right after he graduated from Hampton. Now, by this time, of course, Pearl Harbor happened, and we were thrust into the war. Roosevelt started the 332nd Fighter Group in Moulton Field in Alabama and started training Negroes for Air Corps. So my father applied for that in 42, and while he was waiting to be accepted, he took his advanced civil class at Tuskegee and passed that.
Mm-hmm.
He got accepted into the cadet program for the 332nd in late 42 and took the course. He graduated in May of 1943. He graduated second in his class.
Okay.
There were 43 cadets in his class. 24 of them washed out. 19 of them graduated. And as you and I just talked about, the washout rates, if you look at that, that's about 50%.
That's right.
That's right. So Jimmy, as my father was called by his colleagues and his classmates, they shipped overseas to the 302nd as the 302nd Fighter Squadron in February of 44. In the Mediterranean theater, they joined up with the 332nd Fighter Group, which consisted of the 99th. The original 5 you were talking about was part of the 99th. As a matter of fact, there's a gentleman in there, George Roberts, that worked alongside my father at Wells Fargo up in Sacramento. And his daughter is actually the president of the Sacramento chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen Institute. I just want to put that out there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you realize there's a chapter right there.
Oh, that's excellent. And real quick, Kenneth, I'm sorry. You said the Mediterranean theater. So I just want to let people know that when it says theater, that means where the battle was actually taking place. Is that correct?
That's correct. So at the time of World War II, you had the European theater, which consisted of the northern states. It was actually, believe it or not, we were allies with Russia during World War II.
Right.
And the German Axis powers, which was Hitler, Mussolini in Italy, and Horatio over in Japan. Mm-hmm. Those were the ones that were allied, and then we were trying to stop them from doing the things that they wanted to do. So you had the European theater that was trying to protect France and take Germany out, and then the Mediterranean theater, where we came up from South Africa and moved up north through Italy, eventually taking Rome and Italy and coming from that end. So that was the Mediterranean theater.
Right.
Okay. They joined up with the 332nd there. That consisted of the 99th and 301st and 302nd. Initial assignments when they first got there was just strafing, coastal patrol, strafing missions, support the invasion of Italy through the beaches at Anzio, and well as the invasion of South France. Germany had taken France and Italy. Italy was, Mussolini was part of the Axis.
That's right. So
we were trying to take those out. So in May of 1944, we finally had taken Italy. The 332nd transferred to the 15th Air Force and were relocated to a segregated air base called Ramitelli Airfield in Italy. There, the primary function now was to provide bomber escort. However, they could only provide short-range escort because they were flying planes that couldn't go long distance. The P-39 Cobra, the P-40 Warhawk, P-47 Thunderbolts were the initial planes that they had when they got to Ramitelli. It wasn't until, so that was May of 1944. It wasn't until July of 44 that they received their first batch of long-range P-51 Mustangs. Okay, now the game was on because they could do long-range bomber escort. They were given orders by Colonel Benjamin Davis.
We just read about him, right? He's one of the five original.
He's one of the five.
Right.
He's a colonel. He's one of the first generals in the Air Force also.
Right.
He was the leader of the 332nd Fighter Group.
So let me ask you. So
Yep.
were they flying from the States, or did they have a base in Europe that they were flying and doing a long distance?
So they had the ship in during World War II.
Right.
Everybody that went overseas went over by ship.
Okay.
Planes couldn't make it, and they were in Italy. They were in a air base called Ramatelli in Italy. Well, they started off in South Africa, actually. I mean, North Africa, actually, because Germany had taken parts of North Africa and the Mediterranean area. So they started off there, and they were able to push them back to Italy. They finally took Italy from Mussolini and Hitler. Then we set up bases in Italy so that we could start doing long-range bombing to Ploesti, Romania, where their oil fields were. So they were all stationed overseas. And just to reiterate your point about there was 992 cadets.
Right.
And those were pilots that passed training in Tuskegee. Out of those 992, only 355 went overseas.
That's right.
So it wasn't a very large group.
Right.
So when they got the P-51s, they painted the tails red, and that's where they got the nickname Red Tails.
Red Tails, right.
Colonel Benjamin Davis let them know that at the time, the Allies, the United States and the Allies, they were losing about 25 bombers a day.
Damn.
It's crazy.
And you're talking about 10 bombers per plane. So
Right.
that's over 250 people per day during July.
Wow.
And to put that in perspective of the success of the airmen, the entire duration of the Airmen Full Bomber Escort from July of 44 to April to May of 45, they only lost 27 bombers total.
Wow. So that's a
The
beautiful
reason
thing.
for that, real quick, the
Yeah,
reason
go
for that was that Davis told them our primary focus is to escort these bombers to their targets and escort them back home.
Mm-hmm.
What was happening was that the white fighter pilots would escort the bombers, and the Germans knew that if they brought in a squadron, that the white pilots would chase them, try to get their kills, try to get their scores up, try to become aces.
Right.
So they would bait them with a first string of fighters, and then when the fighters left the bombers, a second string would come in and just start taking the bombers out.
Wow.
So,
Yep. And I want to show something. I'm going to take a clip from the movie. Now, this is just from the movie, but just to get an idea of what was going on at the time. Pull up 16, number 16 real quick. All right, because we're talking about the fighters actually escorting the bombers, right? And they were losing 25 a day, right? So they wanted the Tuskegee Airmen there. They wanted the 32nd there. They definitely did.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Hey, play that real quick.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Turn that volume up.
We'll be 17 bomb group based in Foggia.
Turn the volume up.
Up at Cleveland yesterday.
Pull it back a little. Pull it back. I
Wanna
want to
say
make sure
thanks.
y'all hear that first part. Y'all got to hear this.
Hey, how you guys doing? Listen, we'll be 17 bomb group based in Foggia, and we're looking for the pilots who were up at Cleveland yesterday. We want to say thanks. A couple of those guys saved our asses.
Don't mention it.
So where are they?
Where's who?
Pilots, boy. Came up here to see pilots.
You're looking at them. Lieutenant Lee, Lieutenant Roberts.
How are you?
We appreciate your thanks.
This whole base is colored?
Colored, yes. Lock, stock, and pilot. Let's get out of here, Lieutenant. Them pilots was niggers. Niggers weren't flying them planes today. Let's move it out.
Yes, sir.
Damn. Yeah. He said niggas wasn't flying them planes. He said, no, it's no way.
no way.
Watch this, y'all. Watch this.
Captain, that colored outfit, 332nd, HQ confirmed they were the boys that helped us in Pleven, and we weren't even their assignment.
Lieutenant, let me give you a little sociology lesson. I think being from California and all, you might be a little bit confused.
Hold on, pause. He said, let me give you a little sociology lesson. You being from California and all. He said, you too liberal. Let me tell you about these niggas. Go ahead. Hit play.
Even their assignment.
Lieutenant, let me give you a little sociology lesson. I think being from California and all, you might be a little bit confused. Now, I'm a Texas boy. I grew up with niggers. I was around them every day. Hell, in Lubbock, you can't throw a rock without hitting one. I know how they think, and I know how they live, and I can tell you with complete certainty what they are and are not capable of.
And you don't think they could fly them planes, sir?
Vance, if they was flying them planes, and that is one hell of a big if, then what happened up there was a fluke. So forget about it.
Now I want y'all to watch this right here. No. Y'all gotta hit play. One more scene. It's coming up right here because this is going to go to Wick. Watch this.
Just how bad will the 88s be?
You'll be attacking Berlin, son.
Now pause for a second. Pause for a second. This guy that we're looking at to the left, not the guy that was just speaking, but the one to the left is the one who was saying that there's no way that these guys were flying. Right? Watch this. Go ahead, play. And then we're gonna go right back.
Every anti-aircraft gun in the region will be trying to stop you. Then there'll be the fighters. Now, gentlemen, on this one, we need every load placed on the target. We may not have a second chance.
Sir?
Yes.
Who's flying cover?
51st will escort your wing, Lieutenant.
All right, pause. He said who's flying cover? Remember, this is what Kenneth was just bringing up, that they were losing 25 per day. That's why they all look worried again, right? So now he's asking who's going to be watching our back. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
Now, any more questions? If not, good luck.
Sir, why the change? How come our escort was changed from the 332nd to the 51st?
Stop. You see that? Now he's asking, why y'all taking the Tuskegee brothers away from us?
Oh, yeah.
That's what he's saying. That's when he's talking about the 332nd. He's asking for them, right? Now, remember, just before he was saying there's no way that the niggas was flying like that. But previous to this little scene we seeing, they had already, helped him out, protected him, so on and so forth. So now he understands. So go ahead, hit play.
Logistics, Captain. Is that a problem?
No, sir, no problem.
Good. Have a good mission.
Sir.
Got a point to make, Captain? I suggest you get on with it. Speak up, Captain. We got a mission to run here.
Yes, sir. Well, I got men whose lives are my responsibility up there, sir. And I want the 332nd as our escort.
Damn.
Colored boys?
All right.
That's right, sir. I looked into it, and since they've been escorting bombers, they haven't lost one to enemy action, sir.
See that?
Not a single ship. And if it's all the same to you, I want the 332nd to take me to Berlin and back.
There you go. We good. We good there. Let's get back to Kenneth. Yeah. Now,
so to that point, the comment he made about them not losing a single bomber, that was actually created by the media in Carolina.
Right.
Not to belittle their record, because their record is still phenomenal.
Right.
27 total.
Right.
During their whole duration over there. But yeah, that scene was phenomenal. And that movie, there's actually two movies, that one and the one called The Red Tails. I do recommend the one you're showing. That's the better of the two. So once the 332nd received those P-51s, they were ordered by Benjamin Davis. He said, if any of you guys tail off your escort to chase enemy fighters get killed, you will be court-martialed.
Wow.
Your job is to escort them to the target and escort them back home. And that's what they did. There's no aces. There's one that got an ace. His name escapes me right now.
Right.
But he got it when he was actually being chased by a German fighter and went into dive bomb mode. And when he corrected, the fighter that was chasing them crashed, and they gave him that kill. So, but I mean that was just the artistry, the skill that those guys had to fly. So my father, he flew several missions over Italy, France, Germany, and Yugoslavia. And as you said earlier, by July of 1944, he had flown 80 missions after being there since February. On one of those raids, it was to Ploiești, Romania. Now, just to set the stage for Ploiești, Romania was on the other side of Yugoslavia. So Yugoslavia was in between Italy, where the airmen were stationed, and where they need to do their target bomb. Ploiești, Romania produced a third of the Axis's fuel. So the idea there was to take out Romania, the oil fields, the fuel supplies, and all that, and that would definitely harm the war. So on this one of the raids to Ploiești, Romania, my father was leading a fighter squadron, and he was ordered by the commander to fall back to protect a B-24 bomber that was crippled. And I mean crippled meaning it was damaged, but it was still flying.
Right.
But it was also losing altitude. So my father actually did an interview back in the early 90s. And I want to read to you in his words what occurred in this time. Right. So he said the bomber was losing altitude all the time. And he went over an area we hadn't been briefed on. When the flak came up, 3 of my 4 planes got hit at 23,000 feet. Damn. My oil line got shot up, and I could see the gauges going down like they'd been punched a hole at the bottom. Oil was all over the cockpit and windshield, and my engine caught fire. I shut off all the switches. I slipped and slid the plane and dived to get the fire out. And fortunately, I did. But when I tried to start the engine again, it was frozen. So I just rolled my plane down. Intelligence told us that the Germans would shoot you in your parachute, as I glided down to minimum altitude. So he glided down to between 1,000 and 500 feet, rolled his plane over, and bailed out. Damn. I was about to land on a house, but I reached up and pulled my chute and slipped the air out and landed in the field next to the house.
That's crazy.
Then he was able to gather his stuff and run into the forest.
Wow.
This is where 17-year-old Alexander Zikovic came into play.
Right.
Zikovic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to say some of those Serbian names.
Right.
Except for Jokic, of course.
Right.
He was about 2 miles away from where my father shot down, but he saw the plane get hit. He saw my father bail out, and he was on a horse and two-wheel buggy. So he hightailed it to where he thought my father came down, and fortunately, with the blessings of God, he was able to get to him before the Germans got to him. He took him underground, and he didn't know any English, and this was the first time he'd seen a black man, but the Serbian people were Orthodox Christians, and they were already groomed to help rescue the airmen. This young gentleman, he was only 17 years old, had been actually part of the revolution for 2 years. The Chetniks, as they were called, were part of the Serbian National Army. They were the first group to revolt against the Germans and the Axis in the war. So they were kind of underground revolutionaries. So this gentleman rescued him. He took him to his commander. Commander asked him some questions, and they kept my father safe for 30 days. He remembered every couple of days my father had to be moved around from the Germans, because this area was heavily and severely occupied by German troops at the time. So finally they found a house to hide him in, and he did tell one story about one day he went to the barbershop to get a haircut, and 2 chairs down was a German soldier. He had been given a guard. My father had been given a security guard to protect him, a guy that knew French, Serbian, and English. And he was in a chair in the barber shop. My father wasn't recognized at the time. He got out of there, but they moved him that night because they thought he might have been recognized by the German officer. So he moved around for 39 days.
Real quick. I'm sorry, Kenneth. Kenneth, real quick. So
yeah.
Did the German officer see him at all?
To this day, we don't know.
Okay.
But they didn't want to take any chances.
Right. Because I'm like, wow, he would just see, once you see a brother over there, he's going to know this guy's United States. Right.
Exactly. And that's why he was kept isolated. There's a whole nother story to the rescue of these airmen. But my father, out of 500 airmen that were rescued by the Serbians, he was the only one from the 332nd, i.e. he was the only African American out of those 500 rescued. So yes, they had to keep him kind of isolated. They had to move him a little more regularly. He ended up staying in 2 different houses, slept under the stars. I actually had an opportunity to meet one of the gentlemen whose family protected my father. The Serbians were such a giving group of people. They actually gave up their homes, their food. They slept outside with the goats and ate scrap while the airmen were sleeping in their beds and being protected from the Germans. They sacrificed a lot to keep those guys protected. So my father was kept safe for 39 days. On August 28th, he was safely returned to Ramatelli, Italy, after evading the enemy forces in Yugoslavia for 39 days. He was rescued with 11 other airmen. They were returned to Italy and back to operation. The mission that rescued my father and the other 500 was called Operation Halyard. You can make yourself a note and take a look at that when you have some time. I'm not going to go into details on that story.
Yeah, I saw it. I just see it. Yep.
Okay. I want to read one other thing from my father's interview. This was after he returned, after he was rescued and returned to Ramatelli. Back in Italy, I thought I'd be going home, which they usually did to pilots who had been shot down. But the 332nd was short of pilots, so I was told I'd be flying again, which I didn't like it at all. I objected to schedule the court-martial. Then I went down to the flight line and took a plane up for a test, and the next day I was on another mission. So from his return in August, the end of August, actually, I should say September, to his remaining time there, he flew another 22 missions. He flew 102 missions in all. Man. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I just wanted to. I didn't want to interrupt right there, but so how long, once he got back to the States, how long did it take him to get back in the air? Because they needed him right away, basically. So how long did it take? He
didn't get back to the States.
Oh, so wow. So he was.
this was back in Italy. He was back at Ramatelli Field,
right,
airfield in Italy.
Okay. Yes. I missed that part. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
And the next day, he was back up in the air.
The next day.
Yes. And to put that in perspective, Captain, what you were talking about going back to the States, most fighter pilots, airmen, when they were shot down, MIA, and recovered,
right,
they were sent home.
Exactly. Yes.
Also, most pilots only did 50 missions. The white fighter groups, they did 50 missions and they were sent home.
So you mean to tell me we was in slavery as pilots too? Just got to keep working, huh? This is crazy.
Yes.
Man.
So my father left the Air Corps after the war. The war was over in May of 45. And he left the Air Corps and registered with the reserve. And then he was called back up at the start of active duty during the Korean War, which began in, I think, 50. President Truman, in the meantime, had signed executive order. We all know what executive orders are now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Executive Order 9981 in 1948 to desegregate the armed forces.
Oh.
Many believe due to the success of the 332nd. Let me backtrack to the Berlin comment in that movie. That trip to Berlin was probably one of the longest trips that the airmen, fighter pilots had to do to escort bombers into Berlin and back. And it's been said that when they got to Berlin and some of the leaders of the German army saw those red tails, they kind of knew stuff was fixing to come to an end.
Right, right.
I mean, that's how feared the 332nd was at the time.
Wow.
Once they built that reputation.
Yep. Can we jump into so because you mentioned something about the desegregation, right?
Yes.
You said that was under Truman, right? So
yes.
I want to bring something up real quick, right? Because now we know about our good friend Donald Trump and what kind of went down but didn't go down quite. But bring up number 12 real quick. Bring up number 12, and you probably have more information on this because some people were saying it was just a rumor, it was real. Number 12, y'all. Let's bring this up. All right, read that real quick.
More DEI fallout. Air Force scraps course that used videos of Tuskegee Airmen and female World War II pilots.
Right, scroll up. Right, so Kenneth, now we know that those videos are back up. But did you know anything about that? Whether those videos were actually scrapped at the time, or is that just a rumor that they threw out there? If you know,
they were scrapped.
Wow.
When was that? January, late January.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, they were scrapped. They were removed, and then
Wow.
they were reinstated.
Okay. All right. So we're just gonna read the top part of this real quick. Read that. So it's real. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. The Air Force has removed training courses with videos of its storied Tuskegee Airmen and the Women Air Force Service Pilots, or WSAPs.
ASPs.
Oh, WASPs. The female World War II pilots who were vital in ferrying warplanes for the military to comply with the Trump administration's crackdown on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. The videos were shown to Air Force troops as part of DEI courses they took during basic military training.
Right. Go ahead.
In a statement, the Air Force confirmed the courses with those videos had been removed and said it will fully execute and implement all directives outlined in the executive orders issued by the president.
Right.
Ensuring that they are carried out with utmost professionalism, efficiency, and in alignment with the national security objectives.
Jump down 2 paragraphs. The Tuskegee Airmen.
The Tuskegee Airmen, known as the Red Tails, were the nation's first black military pilots who served in a segregated World War II unit, and their all-black 332nd Fighter Group had one of the lowest loss records of all the bomber escorts in the war.
All right, we're good on that. We're good there. I just wanted to bring it up, Kenneth, because you talked about executive orders. And
well, you trying to piss me off, man?
Yes, sir. We're trying to piss you off, man. Right? Because it's crazy. They couldn't wait. They couldn't wait.
You know, you can't change history.
Right.
You can't kill it. And what these guys accomplished, along with the WASP,
right,
along with the 688, along with the Harlem Hellfighters, along with the original Black Panthers, which was a tank battalion troop.
That's right.
That fought under Patton.
Right, right.
Is history that you can't change it.
Right.
It's history. And it really has nothing to do with DEI.
Not at all.
You know, diversity, whatever that.
Yeah, equity, inclusion.
Has nothing to do with that.
Right. Because these guys, the Tuskegee Airmen were just the best at what they were doing. It has nothing to do with it. There's no diversity and inclusion. They're the best people out there. That's it.
They were the absolute best at what they were doing.
Right.
They outshowed the white fighter groups immensely with their accomplishments. You know, they went through hardship to get their cadet wings. They flew longer missions. They lost less bombers, and they just were able to accomplish so much. So, but back to the desegregation part. So it was desegregated by Truman in 48,
Right.
but the 332nd wasn't desegregated.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1950, my father became the first African American officer of an integrated unit.
Right, I saw that.
At that time, he wasn't part of the 332nd at that time because he wasn't flying anymore. But he was the first African American of an integrated unit. He was proud, man. As were all the Tuskegee Airmen. And I'm sure also, Captain, you've heard of the Double V Victory Campaign that took place in early 40s. That campaign, the question was, why do African Americans want to fight for a country that doesn't want to fight for them?
Right, right.
So the Double V was they were fighting fascism and racism overseas, and they were fighting racism in this country.
That's right. That's right.
And they thought that, hey, we would things would change.
Right.
But when the war was over and the ships returned to the docks on the East Coast, and the soldiers walked down the planks, they walked down to signs that said, colored soldiers this way, white soldiers this way.
Right, right, absolutely.
So the segregation still existed. And I don't know if you can see this picture right here. My father,
Yeah, we can see it.
The cap that he's wearing, that's actually a Serbian National Army cap. So that was after his rescue.
Okay, we can't see the full cap. Is that your dad to the left? Well, to your right.
My father right here.
That's right.
Okay, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. You can see the cap in the top, but maybe not in the picture. Okay. But they were proud to defend the country. And one thing my father shared, again in that news clip, was that while he was being kept safe in Serbia, he was treated better by the partisans, by the Chetniks in Serbia, than he was being treated at home.
Absolutely. And during that time, remember, you're talking about even the jazz musicians used to go over there. They didn't ever want to come back to America because they said they were being treated so well over there as musicians. You had the ball players used to go over there and be like, man, why are we even going back home? We getting treated like kings over here, So outside of America, and because a lot of those Europeans, right, they were seeing what was going on back in America. And they were kind of like, because remember, at that time, they were still fighting each other. So anything that they could hold over America's head, they would do it. You know what I mean? In regards to, look how you treating these black people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Crazy.
So my father retired from the service in 1964 while stationed right here in Marin County at Hamilton Air Force Base. And we moved to Hayward, California, where he applied at Wells Fargo Bank for a security guard position. And another thing about post-war, when these guys came back, the 332nd, the Tuskegee Airmen, they couldn't get jobs as pilot at commercial airlines. Commercial airlines would not hire for pilot training. Or be pilots.
Okay, so commercial airlines weren't hiring for pilots, or they weren't hiring.
They weren't hiring Negroes.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wait, I got to bring this out. I have to bring this out real quick.
I'm sorry.
I want to bring something out real quick, Kenneth, because when people think of flying, they think of this aviation. They think of the Wright brothers. They think of all white people. Then we have to come in and they give us their knowledge, and then we learn how to do so on and so forth. But during the time, and you might even know about this, bring up number 11 real quick. Have you ever heard of Charles Frederick Page?
Vaguely.
Okay. So he basically had created the first airplane before the Wright brothers. Now that sounds like a joke, like we always saying, "Oh, black people came up with something first," but this is like very real. So I want to bring that out because the fact that they weren't hiring as a commercial airline black pilots like they were inferior. No, the actual beginning of that came from this guy, and then the Wright brothers came shortly after. But it was a reason why that happened, right? But bring up number 11 real quick. It's a quick clip I want you to see. Make sure you got that turn. Make sure that volume is up.
When the names Orville and Wilbur Wright are mentioned, the beginning of aviation is often the thought that follows. But history is changing, and it may be time to add another name to that conversation.
When you think of aviation, the first name that comes to mind is the Wright brothers, right? But could you believe that around the same time, a Pineville, Louisiana man patented his plan for the first airplane?
It's a story that it truly is unbelievable, and not only unbelievable that it happened, unbelievable that it's being ignored until 2023.
African-American and former slave Charles Frederick Page invented the airship and patented his version before the Wright brothers.
Pause right there. So his was called the airship. Not only did he make, but he was a former slave. So this man came out of slavery and invented this, right? Now, obviously, y'all can see it doesn't have the same shape as the Wright brothers machine, right? But let's just keep watching. Go ahead.
Why he is not known by every schoolboy and girl today is a sad mystery that needs to be corrected. Paul Leo Ortega also invented the working, passenger-carrying version of the helicopter. Why he is also not better known is a sad mystery. What is also a strange coincidence is, both men lived about 2 miles from each other during their lives in central Louisiana. Welcome to yet another...
So in central Louisiana, these two guys lived less than 2 miles from each other. One created the helicopter, and the other one created the airship, which became the airplane. But y'all got to hear this. Go ahead.
Another interesting video segment. Today we are taking a dive at the forgotten black aviator who soared the sky before the Wright brothers. Before we continue, be kind as to hit that like button and support us further by sharing video with your families and friends to keep spreading our eye-opening black narrative. Also subscribe to help in building the rising membership of this channel. Your support counts a great deal. Now come with me, this is going to be touching. In the annals of aviation history, Charles Frederick Page's name has been conspicuously absent, overshadowed by more celebrated figures like the Wright brothers. Yet, his story is one of remarkable innovation and unyielding resilience in the face of systemic racial oppression. Born into the harrowing reality of slavery, Page taught himself to read and write and ventured into the realm of aviation, patenting an airship in 1906, a feat that absolutely predates the Wright brothers' patent. The significance of Page's invention cannot...
Pause right there. He actually had a patent before them. So y'all understand where this is going. He already had a patent. That means that what? Somebody passed that information on. But wait till y'all hear this next part. Go ahead.
Not be overstated. It was not merely an airship. It symbolized a technological breakthrough and a bold leap into a future where flight would become a pivotal part of human progress. However, Page's achievement took place against the backdrop of the Jim Crow era, a time characterized by relentless white supremacy and racial segregation.
It was shipped, and something happened. Now, due to the Jim Crow prejudice of that time, we firmly believe that it was stolen and destroyed.
These were years marked by the systematic...
So pause. So now there was something left out of there because I know this story. So what happened was they had what was known as the World's Fair. Y'all might have heard of that. He was going to have his airship at the World's Fair. It was getting shipped on a railroad, right? On a railroad by train. That's why they're showing that train right there. It was getting shipped. All of a sudden, nobody knows what happened, but the train was stopped. All of a sudden, his airship was missing and to never be seen again. All right? And then a couple years later, the Wright brothers came out. All right? So we could drop that just for time's sake. We'll drop that. But Kenneth, I just wanted to, let you see that and see that our people have been at the forefront of every great invention in America. I know you already know that, but including aviation. So the Tuskegee Airmen being great pilots and having that understanding is, to other people, that's a big deal. But really, when you look at it, that was supposed to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
That was supposed to happen.
And all the Tuskegee Airmen were college graduates.
That's right.
So we're starting with.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, now you can see the hat a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
But
There you go.
Yeah. When my father applied at Wells Fargo, he applied as a security guard because they told him there was nothing else. But a supervisor took a look at his application and saw his credentials as college graduate, a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, his leadership capabilities, and he offered him a position in the banking side of the business. And my father was like, the only thing I know how to do is balance a checkbook. I don't know anything else about banking. So he told him, give us 6 to 9 months. We'll train you in the banking business. Long story short, 14 years later, my father retired from Wells Fargo as one of the top loan credit officers in the Bay Area.
Man, that's excellent.
So he took that to the next level.
Excellent.
But he passed away in 2004. But I just want to read a list of things that he accomplished in life.
Yes, sir.
And I actually have a scripture I want to read to you guys. But,
Okay.
He served God first and foremost. He was a member of his church for 40 years and was a treasurer for that church because of his banking experience. He served his country through and with the Tuskegee Airmen. He served his community through various organizations. He served on the following boards: Bill Campbell, Bay Area chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen Institute. Bill Campbell, he may have been part of that those 5, but he lived in the Bay Area, and they started a chapter here. Hampton Alumni Association, Veterans of Foreign Wars. He was involved in all 3 of those organizations that did fundraisers to get scholarships for underprivileged people. He also worked for a nonprofit that built affordable housing called Eden Housing. And in 2009, Eden Housing opened up a affordable housing complex in West Hayward, Mount Eden District, and it's called Walker Landing, and they named it after my father.
Oh, wow. It still has that name to this day?
I'm sorry?
It still has that name to this day?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man, it's excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, your father was a great man, excelling in everything he put his hand to, you know. It's excellent work. And I'm happy we getting a chance to meet you and hear about your dad. We didn't know about him until, you know, we got wind of you. Obviously, we knew about the Tuskegee Airmen, but when you have people individually, that's when you see the greatness of them. When you have all these different great people come together in one team, because I'm pretty sure once you know, if we go to each member, they all had some greatness, like you said. They had to be at the top of their class.
992 stories, right?
Exactly, right? And even the ones who so-called, they say, washed out, they're still great, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a great picture right here.
Yeah,
man.
So real quick, I want to read a scripture for
Please.
you, personified my father. It's Luke 6, verse 38.
Luke 6 and
Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For the measure you give will be the measure you get back.
Right.
That personified my father's personality, his life, and everything he did. He gave his all without any expectation. So, yeah, he was a great man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just want to thank you again for being gracious with your time. We want to.
So I don't know if you're time constraint. There's
no. Go ahead.
2 other things I want to touch on.
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as the Tuskegee Airmen are concerned.
Sure.
So, and this is something that a lot of people are not aware of. So, as I said, the desegregation took place in '48, but they did not really desegregate the 332nd. They didn't feel it at all. But in 1949, in between wars, the U.S. Air Force chief of staff ordered a gunnery competition. Are you guys aware of that?
Yes. Is that the first Top Gun you talking about?
The first Top Gun.
Okay, wait. Hey, hold on before you go. And I'm glad you brought that up. Because I saw that and I couldn't believe it. Right. So this what makes this stuff beautiful, because we know the movie Top Gun, right? Everybody know Top Gun?
Right.
All right. So in Top Gun, Tom Cruise was the guy. I don't even know if they had any black pilots in that show at all, right?
I think they had. Well, yeah, you're right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think there was one guy. There was one guy.
That was the Navy Air.
That's also true. That's true. That was the Navy. But the point of it is, Top Gun. Everybody knows that reference, and they know Tom Cruise. But the first ever Top Gun competition was won by the by the Tuskegee Airmen. That's just that's just a fact. And I got a little clip. I got a clip, Kenneth. I got a clip. I had to take it. I saw that. I was like, oh no, we got to play part of this. This is crazy. Bring up number 19 real quick. Bring up number 19 and go to 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. This is great stuff. Number 19, y'all, at 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Sent a directive out to all the fighter groups in the United States.
Pull it back a little bit. Pull it back a little bit.
We had our weapons made in May of 1940.
Pull it back like 10 seconds. Turn it up.
At Lockbourne, that's where the group was stationed. We had our weapons made in May of 1949. Chief of Staff of the Air Force sent a directive out to all the fighter groups in the United States. And they were to pick their 3 high scorers to represent their fighter group in the first ever Top Gun weapons meet to be held at Las Vegas Air Force Base, Nevada, which is now Nellis. So based on our scores, Captain Temple of the 300th, First Lieutenant Harry Stewart of the 100th, and myself of the 94th were chosen as primary members, and Lieutenant Halbert Alexander of the 94th as an alternate. That was our team. So before we left Lockbourne, we had a meeting with Colonel Davis, and we talked, and we finished. His final remark was, if you don't win, don't come back.
Hey, hit pause, hit pause. Hey, the brother said, listen, if y'all don't win this thing, don't come back.
That's right. That's
all
right.
And that Lieutenant Davis, that is who Lawrence Fishburne was playing in the movie. But go ahead, hit play, y'all.
So with those words of encouragement, off we went to Vegas. Our competitors in our class were flying P-51s and F-82s, and we were flying the obsolete P-47. It was a good airplane, but it was still obsolete.
All right, hold on, pause. So they had the obsolete plane, as opposed to the newer jets, the 51s that the other guys had, right? So he's got. I'm sorry, Kenneth, you gonna say something?
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. So they had the obsolete jet. So watch this. Go ahead, hit play.
Or aerial gunnery at 20,000 feet, aerial gunnery at 12,000 feet, dive bombing, skip bombing, rocket firing, and panel strafing. Well, we won the meet. We won the meat.
Right. Yeah, give applause for that. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, we can drop it. We can drop it. We're good. Yeah, that was incredible. I'm glad you reminded me, because I wanted to ask you about that. You would have left, and I would have been like, oh man, we got to talk about it by ourselves.
Not only did they win the meet, they won every event, every team event.
Wow.
Damn.
And the one individual that he was talking about, Tellis, they had 2 rewards. They had an individual reward and a team reward. Right. And going into the final competition, Tellis was actually winning the individual award. And Harvey truly believes that the last competition was fixed because one of the white fighter pilots had to abort his it was the panel scrape.
Right.
He had to abort. And once you abort, you're supposed to be out.
Right.
They actually gave him another P-51, and Harvey thinks they put more bullets in it. And he went back up and he aced it and ended up winning the individual award over the other Tuskegee Airmen.
Wow. Yeah, they had to give him a little, what they call it, a booty prize, a booby prize. Yeah.
Booby prize. But this thing also was not acknowledged for 45 years. That trophy ended up buried in some closet.
Yeah, of course.
And every year when the annual newsletter came out for the top gunners, the 1949 top gunner was listed as unknown.
See that? Unknown.
Damn.
But yeah, so now, so anytime we think Top Gun, we think Tom Cruise.
Immediately.
Yeah, The Last Samurai, Tom Cruise.
So
Top Gun winner, Tom Cruise.
It wasn't until 1995 that this all came out.
Wow.
You know,
It's
you know,
amazing.
you know what's heavy about that though? This is the same. The people that you remember the initial what they said about us as a whole is we was inferior. We were not mentally capable of even flying a plane.
That's right.
And then through all that adversity, we end up being the best in every event. We all. And I get to say that. I get to say we. You know what I'm saying? Because it's our people. I'm gonna read you a scripture.
Absolutely.
Give me 1 Corinthians 12 and 25. And this is why it's so important that you share the history of your father. And we show these things. The same reason that they put that out there to say we was inferior is the same reason they hide the trophy or hide the history, right? Because look what happens when a special people get an opportunity. Watch this. We're going to go 1 Corinthians 12, and we start at 25.
1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
That there should be no schism in the body.
There should be no division in our nation. No division in our nation. It's talking about unity. Read.
But that the members should have the same care one for another.
This is how we should behave ourselves with each other, right? Read on.
And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it.
So guess what? If one member is suffering, it's a loss to all of us, right? Read on.
Or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it.
So guess what? When your father is honored, that's just like me being honored. Then I get to say we are the best pilots. We did this through adversity. We, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a heavy thing. That's a heavy thing. And then from that, you see why they the narrative that they push to us now. The narrative they push to us now, you got all this.
Did we lose him? We lost him? Okay. All right, try to get him back.
Yeah, the narrative that they got to us now is that we inferior. All we good for is trap music. You know, all we're good for is entertainment. Right. But we are the same. We the same great people. Give me Exodus 1. I want Exodus 1 and 9. All right.
The book.
Give me
It's the book of
1,
Exodus, chapter 1 and verse 9.
Come on.
And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
So this is what your oppressors know about us, is we are more and mightier than them, right? When it say mightier, meaning not only physically but mentally. We the ones making all the inventions, right? Read on.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, that they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
You see the fear that they have of us? They fear our potential, whether they tell you or not. They telling you without telling you. They fear our potential so bad that they'll go to great lengths to say, well, you guys are inferior. They tell you this while you're young. You know what I'm saying? And hide your great history. Hide that we were rulers in Europe for thousands of years. Let's hide that from them and only show them the death and destruction.
Hey, and they hide the fact, right, that the airship was created by black people.
Yeah.
They hide the fact that the top gunners, the first winners of it was black people and ruled it. They hide all of that type of stuff for a reason, because they know image is everything. If a kid got something to look up to and that's his hero and that's his everything, you know, that kid is gonna be a great person. He's gonna end up great, just like the person he was looking up to. But if they take it and put another face on it, it's like, man, we ain't nothing.
Right. And look how many Tupacs have been regenerated. You know what I'm saying? They show you Tupac, now everybody want to be Tupac. Everybody want to gangbang. Gangbanging starting in L.A. Now you got it way in Texas, way across the world, because what's been portrayed on the TV. Now imagine the spark that could happen if we knew that we was the first pilots. How many more brains would that spark? You know what I'm saying? If they showed us that we was the ones that invented open heart surgery, how many more doctors would that spark? You know, the image is everything. It say where no vision is, the people perish.
Right.
You know, so I want you to read Exodus 1, and I want to start at 12. Verse 12.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 1 and verse 12.
Come on.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
Uh-huh.
And they were grievous because of the children of Israel.
So the more we get afflicted, no matter what, we still grow. So how can slaves build an airplane? These are slaves. They don't have resources. You know what I'm saying? Most of their day is taken up with rigorous work, like we're reading in Exodus, right? They made us to work with rigor, and we still coming up with the greatest inventions.
Yep.
In the movie clip, the white guy, you know what I'm saying? They played the heartwarming song, and the music and the violin made everybody feel warm and tingly inside. But I didn't feel like that. All I heard was him saying, "Hey, look, we told them that they was inferior." I felt like that vehemently, and now that I see my life is on the line, we can use them for a time. And then let's hide their history. You know what I'm saying? That's what I see. Now, at the end of the day, that's how we be used all the time. We're always used like that. They'll use what's good for us, you know, and then hide the rest, and then take the patent. They'll steal the history.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's good that we show this to the people.
Yep.
You know, you got to
Right.
keep doing this.
Give me Micah 2:2, because you're right. They steal the patent and then hide the history. Watch this. Watch what they do. And God said it first.
It's the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 2.
Come on.
And they covet fields
Uh-huh.
and take them by violence.
They take everything by war, forcefully. Go ahead.
And take them away. So they and
And
they
houses.
covet fields and take them by violence, and houses.
And they take people's houses, their homelands. Come on.
And take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
They oppress and take a man's house, his homeland, and his heritage.
Right.
Because again, the airship was created by a so-called African American, a so-called black man. Right. That should have been a black kid's heritage.
Right.
For sure.
He should have inherited that.
Right.
A black kid should have inherited that. But what Officer Judah just say? They took the patent, hid the history.
Right.
In the video, it said that history wasn't known up until 2023. That's 2 years ago.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's
sick.
2 years ago.
But and that's crazy, because what prophecy had to be fulfilled. And this is what I want to bring also to you, Kenneth, that your dad was part of a prophecy that had to take place. But I'm going to show you something. First off, with the first airplanes, right? This was already prophesied in the Bible, right? But it was supposed to be made by them. So although we came up with it, that's not what the Bible was. That's not what was prophesied. What was prophesied was that not the Wright brothers, but white people come up with this airplane. They were the ones that wanted to ascend into the clouds, right? But I'm going to show you something real quick. We're going to show you. Give me Isaiah 14, right? I'm going to read two things to you. Something about World War I and the prophecy of World War II to come. But this part is just talking about the airplanes. But go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14.
Verse 4.
And verse 4.
Come on.
That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon.
Right. So the king of Babylon, this prophecy is being talked about. Babylon meaning modern day Babylon, which is America. So the king of Babylon meaning what? Americans, or, which is running all of Europe. Because they're all brothers at the end of the day. The Europeans, the Americans, and I know we're American as far as us being born here, but we know what we're talking about. We're talking about white people. This is what the Bible is saying, right? Go ahead.
And say, how if the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased.
So now it's calling Babylon the oppressor. Because when you look, America goes and oppresses all the places all over, all cities, all states, all governments, all countries, right? They're oppressing them. But it says, how has the golden city ceased? Meaning what? It's coming to an end. But now I want to show you something. Jump down to verse 13.
Verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into the heaven.
I will ascend into heaven, meaning what? Into the skies. Go ahead.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Go ahead.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Right, upon the congregation, the sides of the north, meaning I'm going to sit on what? The so-called, what we look today as the African Americans, but they are the tribe of Judah in the Bible. So the Lord says that what? They're going to sit on the congregation in the sides of the north, in North America, meaning keep them under oppression. Right? Go ahead, read the next verse.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. Go ahead.
I will be like the Most High.
I will be like the Most High. I'm going to be able to see everything and control everything from the skies. But now I'm going to jump now, give you one more. In Revelation chapter 9, all right, and start in verse 9.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 9 and verse 9.
Come on.
And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron.
Right. It said they had breastplates as if it was breastplates of iron. Go ahead.
And the sounds of their wings.
And the sound of their wings, go ahead,
was as the sound of chariots of many horses running into battle.
Right, because this is when now what you had in the First World War. That's when the first aerial combat was starting, and this is why I'm saying their wings sound like many chariots in battle are fighting, because now they got the guns coming off of the wings and all of that. Go ahead, read.
And they had tails like unto scorpions.
Meaning what? Remember, they had the rear gunners and all of that, like unto gunners. That's what's going to be doing the stinging, the bullets coming out and knocking people off. Go ahead.
And they were stings in their tails.
Go ahead.
And their power was to hurt men 5 months.
Right, and that was to hurt men 5 months. But that 5 months is just talking about an overall number. It's not actually 5 months. But these are the prophecy. Oh, read the next one. I'm sorry.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit.
Go ahead, read on.
Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
Verse 12.
One woe is past.
Stop. One woe is past, meaning that First World War went past. Go ahead.
And behold, there cometh 2 woes more hereafter.
There come 2 woes hereafter. So your father was involved in the second woe. That's called the Second World War. And now the third one is to come. So this is what we know is going to happen. So now you're seeing all these countries and stuff fighting against each other and basically bubbling up. We know at some point World War III is going to take off. But we just wanted to share that with you, you know? Just want to share that.
All praises. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Kenneth. But you can continue. I know. Oh, we can't hear Kenneth. Y'all got him muted on this side?
I'm there. Can you
Oh,
hear me
there you
now?
go. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, okay. No, I'm finished. That was the last thing I wanted to share with you guys. If you got
Okay.
any questions or anything like that.
All right. Well, you know what?
Fire that way.
We got a live audience. Let me see if anybody has a question. If y'all want to bring a mic out here. Anybody got a question?
There's a mic out here.
Any of y'all got a question? Y'all can ask.
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead.
How was life growing up for you? When people knew that that was your father and things, like did people?
Well, I got to tell you, man, that veterans, they didn't talk a lot about the war. Now, I was born in '56. My father retired in '64. We moved out here to Hamilton Air Force Base in '59. So I was just a child, but I did not learn. And I got to admit, when I was young, I had no interest in history. I thought history was a waste of time.
Right.
But now, my wife would tell you I'm obsessed with it. But it's I didn't learn deeply about my father's history until the early '90s, and I learned it from one of his comrades, and from an article that I found. A couple of the excerpts I read to you from an interview that he did in the early '90s with a gentleman that actually had the opportunity to interview not only my father, but also interviewed Alexander when he came to the United States. He lived in Chicago.
Okay.
So that's why I actually learned a lot of that. My father's friend told my father's story at church one day in the early '90s, and that's what piqued my interest. But he himself really never talked about it, as most vets, I don't think, tell a lot of war stories.
Okay. And what really intrigued you into looking into the history of your father?
Just the history of Tuskegee Airmen and the history of the story that his friend told me about what he went through, not realizing that. I I have 3 siblings, 2 brothers and a sister, and none of us went into the service. And he never really pushed for us to go into the service. So we'll never know if he was disappointed that we didn't or that he preferred that we did. He was able to put us all through college, and that was his goal. So beyond that, there really wasn't a lot other than me wreaking havoc on my mother and father. It wasn't really a whole lot.
Because I was going to ask, are you a pilot? I was going to ask, did you have any interest in it at all?
I did not.
Okay.
And, yeah, I did not, and no regrets. However, I do plan on flying in the P-51. There's a place over in Sonoma Airport that has all 3 of the planes that the Tuskegee Airmen flew: the Thunderbolt, the Air Cobra, and the P-51C, and they do take people up.
Okay, that sounds like a trip.
Yeah, that sounds like an outing.
Yeah, that sounds like a trip for us. Yep. And we do have one question from the crowd.
You gonna run a mic?
Hello.
The mic is over there.
Cool.
Whoever has the mic, y'all can ask the question.
Hello, sir. How do you feel knowing that your father's history was a part of Bible prophecy?
I feel great.
Right. We feel great.
I mean, you can't
straight up.
Yeah. Oh man, this was great, Kenneth. We really appreciate your time. This was an excellent interview for us because we love to talk about our people's history, and we go into that our history going all the way back, even into the Middle Ages, and so when we hear things like this in American history, these are great things, because it's still, like you said, it's overlooked. Just started getting some light in the 90s, and it's really crazy. And these are the things that need to be brought out in schools. Like this stuff should be brought out in school, but it's not. We didn't hear anything about this until we were grown. I never heard about the Tuskegee Airmen.
The movie came out.
Exactly.
Yeah, me too.
That's something that should have been brought out at least in the urban schools, at least there.
It should be. It should have been in the books a long time ago. And to your point, what you mentioned earlier about as generation and generation moves further and further away, it's really important that we keep these truths of our history alive.
No, we have to.
And to allow people to take it off. I went to a website earlier today. I tried to pull up a website, I should say. It's in my favorites folder.
Right.
Having to do with the Top Gun with Harvey, the interview you had.
Right.
And I went to pull it up, and that website was temporarily removed.
Right.
So I don't know if that was removed by DEI or if there was a problem with the web page owners or what. But,
right.
Things that are going on today, your first thought is, it's DEI removal. But
exactly. Exactly. And at
there's
least
there's a lot of stories on YouTube. There's a lot of documentaries, there's a lot of interviews on YouTube that speak to the truth and not propagandized by social media.
Right.
And it's important that we keep those stories out there.
Oh yeah, because this is what the kids need to see, right? So they can their mind can think more than just being an athlete, being a rapper, And we know our kids out there, they into engineering. A lot of them want to do computer work and information technology and so on and so forth. But being a pilot, this is a great thing as well. You have to know technology to fly. So these are the things that we got to show our kids, to let them see options out there.
Yes.
It's not just you got to just play ball or no. This is incredible. I met 2 fighter pilots in my life, back in New York. Both of them were white, and they were discussing, it sounded exciting. I know me personally, I would never do it, or it never had to, but it sounded very exciting. So maybe that's something our people might want to get into. And we already know we don't really want to tell our people to join the service per se. But even if you want to fly and just learn aviation and just understand the technology behind it, that's a great thing. Design, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of the missions of the Tuskegee Airmen is incorporated groups, the alumni groups, is to teach young people to fly. And there's a program at the Nut Tree Airport that the Tuskegee chapter in Vacaville, Lee Archer Trap chapter, actually have that you can attend. I believe it's free. Don't quote me on it, but and they allow young kids to fly. Now there's the chapter in Sacramento. There's actually 2 chapters in Sacramento. They may be doing the same thing at one of the airports up there. So it's probably worth looking into.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely do that. We do have one question from one of our young brothers here. Go ahead.
Do you have kids? And if you do, how do you feel about telling them about your dad?
I have 2 kids. My daughter lives in Sacramento in the Thomas. My son lives here with us. They both know about my father extremely well. As a matter of fact, I have 2 grandkids who also know about my father. My grandson, my oldest grandson, is 12. About 4 years ago, he actually did a reenactment. I mean, my daughter got him a Tuskegee Airmen uniform off of Amazon. And he did a reenactment of my father's life. Told my father's life.
Wow, yeah, that's excellent stuff.
Yeah.
That's excellent stuff.
Do them programs teach old people how to fly?
Hey,
I want to fly.
Yeah.
All they can say is no, right? You can ask, and all they can say is no.
Right.
As a matter of fact, there was a freeway dedication here. Lieutenant Colonel James Warren was a Tuskegee Airman, lived in Vacaville. He
okay. Yeah.
He did not get his flight license. He actually failed at Tuskegee to get his flying cadet. He is now, I think he's in the Guinness Book of World Records, as the oldest individual to get his civil flying license, and he got it at Nut Tree.
Kenneth, is that the name that's on the 80?
Yep.
Wow, that's
Colonel
cool.
James Warren is on the 505 interchange.
Wow. Okay, I had no idea. I thought it was a police officer. No. Yeah, I had no idea who that was.
It's right there. Well, it's right there. So the Tuskegee Airmen Highway, which is 80, right, has been designated. But at the 505 interchange, going out of Vacaville and coming into Vacaville,
right,
is now called the Lieutenant Colonel James Warren interchange.
Yep. Oh wow! All right, hey, that's excellent. We're going to look into it and hopefully take a trip. We're going to take the kids out there, and we're going to try to make that happen. But yeah, Kenneth, we want to say again, thank you for your time,
You're welcome.
and all the best, and hopefully we may want to bring you back for something. You know, we always got different things going on, different topics, and you know, we may bring you back. You know, so just keep an ear out for us, man.
Okay, my pleasure, man.
And answer the phone.
Thanks for having me.
All right, yes, absolutely. All right, give it up for Kenneth Walker. Appreciate you. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, you got a standing ovation, Kenneth.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man,
People love
that.
you.
All right, all praises. Yeah, that was excellent stuff right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are the things that we love to bring to people, man. And shout out to Kenneth again for giving us that inside look, because without that, I mean, it's one thing to look on YouTube and you see different history stuff, but when you have the man right there that's his father, this is a whole other feeling, Yeah, absolutely.
They gotta hide that type of stuff, man.
Oh yeah,
they have to hide that type of stuff in order to keep us very low. They gotta give me Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 43. They was to show us that type of stuff, then prophecies like this wouldn't happen.
Oh yeah.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 43.
Come on.
Come on. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and now shall come down very low.
That's how they was gonna bring us down very low, taking everything away from us, stealing our history, stealing our inventions, stealing everything that we came up with and patenting it after themselves. Read.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Come on.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
And he was going to become the head, and we will become the tail. Why? Because we stepped away from what we were supposed to be doing. We stepped away from our heritage. And that history is good history to know, to show, look, we was these people, but due to the fact that, oh my goodness, my phone rang. Oh man, that's crazy. Through my whole thought process.
Yeah, come on. Judah talk. Get it together, brother.
You know I'm gonna say something. Hey, look. Hey, the spark that we are seeing from seeing our history like that. Who knows who is gonna spark next? And look at the job that we're doing, right? Something as seeing and saying can spark a young child to become something great.
Right.
Look at this movement, right? Give me 1 Corinthians 1, and I want to go to 21.
Come on.
And look what we becoming, because everybody in this room, we know each other because of the Bible. We all come from different walks of life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Certain levels of, we got street cats. We got business guys. We got nerds. Right. We got a little bit of everything in here. And it's all because of this Bible. Now watch this. Read what you got.
1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 21.
Uh-huh.
For after that, in the wisdom of God, the world by wisdom knew not God.
Uh-huh. Because everybody got game. The world got game. You know what I'm saying? That wisdom, worldly wisdom. And they're not knowing God with that, right? Read on.
It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe.
By the foolishness of preaching, right? Now, look how the spark happens, right? My elder was sparked by his elder, who sparked me way over here on the West Coast, who sparked mighty captains that we listen to, mighty deacons. They all have been sparked from different walks of life by the foolishness of preaching. Think about who we going to spark next. You know what I'm saying? We think our job is small, but you don't know who you gonna touch, who your video gonna touch, or who your studying gonna edify. You know what I'm saying? You might raise up the next bishop. You know what I'm saying? Just off of your video, say, I watched that guy. Oh man, he was compelling, and that's how I got started. You know what I'm saying? We not only are we sparking each other in the Bible, but we already sparking the world, whether you like it or not. Hey, Beards is in. Beards is in. They in right now.
It's not Rick Ross? He ain't doing it?
Yeah, it ain't Rick Ross.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, sis is wearing head wraps again. They still got the pants on.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Hey, but the head wraps is in right now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And why is that? Because our fashion, us sparking positive change in our people. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Black history is in right now. You know why is that? Because we bringing it out. We bringing out the you got the Russian icons. We showing that stuff way before Putin did it. You know, and it's sparking the people. It's sparking the people, and we're gonna continue to get better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But let's go back to a little. Yeah. Y'all can clap. Y'all can clap. Hey, bring up number 11 again about the brother Charles Page. All right, number 11 again. There was something in there I wanted to touch on. Play it from the beginning again, because there's prophecy in everything that we see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they mentioned something in there, and I want to touch on it. Come on, y'all. All right.
When the names Orville and Wilbur Wright are mentioned, the beginning of aviation is often the thought that follows. But history is changing, and it may be time to add another name to that conversation.
When you think of aviation, the first name that comes to mind is the Wright brothers, right? But could you believe that around the same time, a Pineville, Louisiana man patented his plan for the first airplane?
It's a story that it truly is unbelievable, and not only unbelievable that it happened, unbelievable that it's being ignored until 2023.
African-American and former slave Charles Frederick Page invented the airship and patented his version before the Wright brothers. Why he is not known by every schoolboy and girl today is a sad mystery that needs to be corrected. Paul Leo Ortego also invented the working, passenger-carrying version of the helicopter. Why he is also not better known is a sad mystery. What is also a strange coincidence is, both men lived about 2 miles from each other during their lives in central Louisiana. Welcome to yet another interesting video segment. Today we are taking a dive at the forgotten black aviator who soared the sky before the Wright brothers. Before we continue, be kind as to hit that like button and support us further by sharing video with your families and friends to keep spreading our eye-opening black narrative. Also subscribe to help in building the rising membership of this channel.
Voice.
Your support counts a great deal. Now come with me, this is going to be touching. In the annals of aviation history, Charles Frederick Page's name has been conspicuously absent. overshadowed by more celebrated figures like the Wright brothers. Yet, his story is one of remarkable innovation and unyielding resilience in the face of systemic racial oppression. Born into the harrowing reality of slavery, Page taught himself to read and write and ventured into the realm of aviation, patenting an airship.
Stop right there. That's what I want. Right there. Right? So they said the French and Indian War, right? Hey, let's go to Daniel real quick, right? Daniel chapter 7, right? Because this stuff is in the Bible. Y'all might not know that the French Indian War or the French American War, right? That was in there. Because if y'all remember correctly, or maybe you don't know, that the United States was run by Britain, Spain, and France, right? So they all had a piece of America at one time, right? But go ahead. I want Daniel 7, and I want starting verse 7.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 7. After this, I saw in the night visions.
Hey, is his volume sounds low on that mic. We don't hear him. We just hear him.
1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2.
There you go, bro.
After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns.
Right, so it's going into the Romans right there, right? This is the prophecy of the Romans coming, right? So now I want y'all to hear something. Go ahead, read on.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn.
Another little horn. Go ahead.
Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Right. So that little horn was the United States, right?
Right.
And what? The three other horns were what? That were plucked up. Those 3 horns that were plucked up. Go ahead. Finish up.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things.
Right. So that was the Americans, right? The USA speaking great things. And those 3 that were plucked up was France, Britain, and Spain, right? Spain. So that French Indian War, French American War was what? Between when Britain was holding most of America at that time, then they were fighting against the Indians. The French were coming in and trying to help knock Britain out of the box. So this is all the wars that was going on until the United States wound up winning, just knocking everybody out of there. So the Britain was gone, France was gone, and Spain was gone. All right, so when we see these things, we're going to be able to relate everything to the scriptures. All right, so during that time, this is when all of this technology and all this was first starting, I guess, in the mind of them. That's why they posted that up, to show that once that war was kicking off, that's when people started getting technology, weaponry, and so on and so forth, you know?
And it's heavy that he had to teach himself how to read and write.
Right.
And then he's making,
exactly
inventions out of this world. We are the salt of this earth, man.
Absolutely.
Man, no.
Absolutely.
We are absolutely there.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? Hey, I hope y'all brothers remember last time we wanted to get something out of from Babylon to Timbuktu, right? Y'all need to find that page that showed when they came over that they were getting the engineers and so on and so forth from the west coast of Africa and all of that. I'll give y'all some time to find that. But go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I want to go to. I'll go to Sirach 13. Yeah. Right. Let's go to Sirach 13, and we start at 4, 3 and 4. We start at 3, right? So, because we was talking about the last clip, or not the very last clip, but one of the clips you showed where the Edomite dude was like, well, yeah, I want
right.
I want that battalion to escort us in.
That's right.
Right, and they played the violin music, and everybody felt warm and fuzzy.
And
about
fuzzy,
that.
yeah. We was all warm and fuzzy in here.
Right, but let's
fuzzy as hell.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 13 and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
The rich man hath done wrong,
Yep.
and yet he threateneth withal.
Read on.
The poor man is wronged, and he must entreat also.
Read on.
If thou be for his profit.
But if you can profit this man, if you can profit the proud man, if you got some benefit for him, read.
he will use thee.
He'll use you, and they're gonna play violins behind it too. They're gonna make you think he, you know, like he changed his ways.
Yeah.
Read.
But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
He gonna say, I you could throw a rock at him and hit one of them. I know what they like. He gonna forsake you. Read.
Right.
If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear and will not be sorry for it.
So guess what? If you got anything, he'll take everything you got, you know what I'm saying, and make you bear. I mean, he gonna steal your history.
Oh, yeah.
He gonna use you for a time for the benefit.
Right.
But then everything you gain from it, he gonna take it right back.
That's right.
You know
That's
what
why
I'm
just jump back to Sirach 12 and 10.
Yes.
That's going to touch up what you dealing with right now.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
Never trust thine enemy. That it's just straight like that, right? Because when Kenneth was saying when the brothers came back from World War II, when they got off the ships in New York and all of that, white soldiers here and you niggas over there.
Right.
That's it. Never trust your enemy. Right? They were over there. Yo, no, we need the 332nd to follow us. Once they got back home, they was like, all right, bye, nigga.
For real.
We good.
Go back to Sirach 3 where you was reading that and keep reading, man. It's
13.
a lot. It's
Sirach chapter 13. You want verse 5?
It's a lot on there. Yes. Pick back up at 5.
Sirach chapter 13, verse 5.
Come on.
If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear.
Said he gonna live with you and then take it all from you, just like he read in Sirach. He will do it to sit in your seat. That's what it says in Sirach 12. I butchered it, but damn. Go ahead, read.
And will not be sorry for it.
And he won't be sorry for it. He ain't gonna care. He ain't gonna apologize to you. You gonna ask for reparations. He gonna be like, hell no. Go ahead.
If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee.
He said, if he have need of you, he gonna act like he be your friend and deceive you. Come on.
And smile upon thee.
He gonna smile in your face. Oh, this is my one black friend, Jimmy. Nah, he gonna smile in your face. Come on.
Yeah.
And put thee in hope.
He gonna put you in hope like he gonna make you a partner with him. Come on.
He will speak thee fair.
He gonna speak to you the good things that you want to hear.
And say, what wantest thou?
And act like he gonna give you everything you ever dreamed of. Come on.
And he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice.
So he ain't gonna just do it to you once. He gonna do it to you once and with a fake apology because he knows you got more in store for what he need. And then he gonna do it. He gonna dry you out 2 and 3 more times after that. And that's supposed to be your buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And at the last, he will laugh thee to scorn.
And at the last one, he gonna laugh you to scorn. Like
That's
this man done believe me 2 and 3 and 4 times.
Right.
Come on.
Afterward, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee.
And then afterwards, when he see you, he gonna forsake you. Just like the article that you read, Cap, about the Wright brothers.
Right.
He said he put his stuff on freight.
Right.
The train got stopped, robbed, and then a little afterward, the Wright brothers now got planes.
Right.
They took his stuff. They robbed him.
We found it, Johnson.
They made him dry. They laughed at him.
Yeah.
And now they got the planes.
Hell yeah.
And now they got the first men to fly. But they wasn't.
But you know what? That had to happen because they had to
Fulfill
that prophecy.
Right.
They had to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the beautiful thing about this book right here. That's the beautiful thing about the scriptures, right? Check this out real quick. Go back to Revelation 9 and 12.
Y'all find what Cap was
yeah. Let's touch that real quick. Yeah. Bring that up. Yeah, from Babylon to Timbuktu.
Thank you.
Yeah, all praises. Oh, good. It's highlight. It's highlighted.
Just zoom in a little bit, just like one time. All right.
There you go.
This is some beautiful history. I wish you were still on to get this.
Yeah,
I hope
for
you're
real.
watching.
This is the book From Babylon to Timbuktu, page 90. The black Jews had an advantage over the African tribes.
Okay, so right there they're letting you know that our people, the black Jews, are not the Africans.
Right.
That's clear. Go ahead.
They carried their culture.
We carried our culture.
History.
Laws. That's the Bible. Go ahead.
And written records with them.
Go ahead.
This assured them a constant precedent for the development of a higher social organization.
Right. So when you hear about the Songhai Empire, Timbuktu, like the name of this book is From Babylon to Timbuktu. Those places were run by us, right? If you see every captivity we were in, they were always the top nation on the earth when we were there.
Yep.
As soon as we gone, they done.
They fall. Yep.
Right? Same thing with America. Here, boom, they up. But that's about to be done. Go ahead, read on.
Because of the stability of the black Jewish culture,
right,
the Jews were not absorbed into the auto.
I can't see it well because the way it's highlighted, I can't really see it.
Autochthonous.
Ain't nobody say cojones.
Ain't nobody say no cojones,
hey,
man.
What the hell wrong with this man's mind, bro? This man has a filthy mind, bro.
Bruh, wow.
Into that word, population. In fact, the Jews absorbed some of the naive tribes.
No. Native tribes. So
native tribes.
What it's saying is that the Jews weren't really getting absorbed into the African tribes.
Right.
But in fact, the Jews were absorbing some of the native tribes. So we did mix with them some. That's just a reality. But go ahead.
The Jews made use of every opportunity. They were an industrious and skillful people.
They were an industrious and skillful people. Watch this.
In the Jewish Ghanaian states.
Ghanaian, that's everybody from Ghana. Go ahead.
In the Jewish Ghanaian states were found kings.
Stop. So in Deuteronomy 28, real quick, because we got some clown apologists that always talk about, in Deuteronomy 28, it talks about your kings. What kings? Don't be stupid.
Verse 36.
Is that what it is?
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on. Let me get there, man. Let me get there. We got to be on point with these knuckleheads. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 36.
There you go.
The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Go ahead.
And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Meaning what? The white Jesus and the cobblestone, right? And when they say what kings, if anybody want to know, I'll just throw one out there. It was a King Takei, right? Or Takai, however you want to pronounce it. But he's one of many kings that were brought over during that transatlantic slave trade. That's why it says that there. In the Jewish Ghanaian states were found kings, princes. Go ahead, bro.
In the Jewish Ghanaian states were found kings, princes, governors, generals,
right? Strategists. That's what it's telling you. Go ahead.
Secretaries.
Go ahead.
Treasurers.
Right.
Revenue
agents. Does this sound like somebody's primitive over here? Does it sound like they need white people to come and civilize us? No.
Right.
Go ahead.
Judges.
Meaning what? Meaning what? That they had people to judge the matter.
Right.
Right? They had courts of law, pretty much. Go ahead.
Architects.
Go ahead.
Engineers. Doctors.
Right. Stop. Architects, engineers. This is how come when our people came to this country, they were doing what? Making every invention.
Right. Yep.
Because that mind, regardless of
blood.
Whether,
it's in the blood.
Thank you. That's in the blood, in the DNA. Go ahead.
Historians.
Doctors, historians. Go ahead.
Language interpreters. Go ahead. Mathematicians.
Right. That goes into what? Physics and all of that. That's how come the brother was able to create that what they call it? The airship. Yeah. Right? And also, even when you look at NASA, a lot of NASA is Jakes. Mm-hmm. Keep it a buck with you. A lot of NASA is Jakes. That's why they had the movie, what was that? Hidden Figures with all the sisters, right? And they were in NASA doing what? They were mathematicians, right? Go ahead.
Jewelers. Sculptors. Masons. Carpenters.
What? Because they had to build America. Everywhere we went slavery, we were building everything. The Great Wall of China in China. Right. Every big monuments. That was our people as slaves doing that. But you think they gave us the blueprint? No, we had created them. How do you do this? You niggas. Hey, do your magic, nigga. Do some more of that magical shit y'all eating. Do some more of that magic. Okay, boom. Yeah, build it. Go ahead.
Carpenters. Painters of art. Goldsmith.
Go ahead.
Leather workers. Potters.
Damn.
Armorers. Saddlers. Blacksmiths. Agriculturists.
Right. Like George Washington Carver. Right? Go ahead.
Etc.
It says etc. because it just keeps going.
The list
going.
It goes on and
going.
on.
Yeah, this is us.
And that's the stuff that they stole, man. When they say they oppressed a man in his house and a man in his heritage.
That's right.
They stole all of that stuff.
That's right.
Everything
That's right.
that they know, they stole. That was their great vision.
Yeah.
The great vision was to go steal.
In the same way they told us that we wasn't.
No, that's real talk.
The same way they told us that we was inadequate to fly a plane.
Right.
The same reason they show us being taken in slave ships in diapers. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Because they're not going to show us that. You know, they're not going to show
diapers.
architects. Yeah, every
Right.
time you see us going into slave ships, we faces painted with the
Loin
you know
claw.
what I'm saying?
With
The
the-
loin claw with the big
Yeah.
spear.
Right.
You know, that's
With
not
the bone
us,
in the
man.
lip.
That wasn't even us.
Yeah,
not even us.
not
That
us
was the
at
other
all.
guys.
That's so base.
Yeah.
You know, and you see that, you say, damn, we kind of lucky to be over here because we got at least, we got clothes now.
Real talk. It's a good thing the Lord put us in slavery.
Right.
We would have never been smart.
The dudes with the bones in the lips, them the ones that they left.
Right. As soon as they seen them, they was like, not you. We're the other guys that dress nice. He was crazy.
And they was only good for rowing. Those guys, they was the muscle.
They was the muscle. Yo, you crazy.
What about what about in society today, right? How they still use us in all our corporate societies or whatever, or corporate businesses.
Right.
They got black people in those companies, but the face is always white. The
Absolutely.
CEO. And guess what? He's taking all the Tavon's ideas.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do you think we could expound our portfolio? You're getting all these ideas from the geniuses of the earth.
Exactly.
And building your companies.
He's
up
like,
with it.
Tavon, you are excellent.
You're right.
But you're always late.
Tavon want to.
Tavon, we would love to make you a partner, but your lateness is beyond us. But those ideas of yours, we'll be sure to talk about them. We can't add your name.
Yes.
Because you're late.
Because you're always late.
Yeah, it's always something. Damn. Come on,
The machine
Tavon.
is gonna type your name so late it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Yo.
Yeah.
But hey, real quick. Go back to Revelation 9 real quick and 12. Right? Because we brought this out about the first world war and then the second one to come, right? But come on.
Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. One war was past.
Right, that's that first world war, right? That's where, and just because we was on aviation, that's where the actual aerial combat started in World War I. Go ahead.
And behold, there come two woes more hereafter.
Right, that second one that came, right? That's what? That's when they got to another level, right? As far as that aviation, but that world war was happening. Jump to Revelation 11 and 14.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Right. The second world war passed, and the third one is coming quickly. Right. So now what? We in the midst of that, right? What is about to happen? Give me Isaiah 19 and 2. Isaiah 19 and 2.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 2.
We went over this on the Sabbath too. This was it's a great scripture right here. But go ahead.
And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians.
Right. This is talking about the United States, the spiritual Egypt, right? And Esau as a whole, really, right? I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, meaning what? That's what we're looking at today, right? First, we got a bunch of stuff going on worldwide, but in America itself, you got what? Democrats, Republicans mad at each other. Now it's starting to ramp up because of your man Trump, because he's exposing people. That's what it is. It ain't like because the Republicans is really behind him. They mad at him too. Democrats is mad at him, and everybody mad at Trump, right? Read on.
And they shall fight, every one against his brother.
That's right. Go ahead.
And every one against his neighbor.
Go ahead.
City against city, and kingdom against kingdom.
That's right. Go ahead.
And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof.
Right. The spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. Go ahead.
And I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards.
Right. So, that's a twofold. That's from back then and now. But this is really just now. Actually, this is now. This is right now coming up. That what? Their familiar spirits, the wizards and all of that, their technology and because this is witchcraft at this point. They on another level, right? But just to let y'all know that third world war is coming, right? And what? In regards to in Revelation, we could go on all night. I know we don't have that much time, but when you go into Revelation chapter 7, it talks about how the angels are holding back those winds of war, all of those war angels, going into 2nd Esdras 13 and so on and so forth about that war to come, right? But go ahead.
Verse 4.
No, I'm sorry. We good right there.
Okay.
You got something?
No, man. The show was so good, man. I'm reflecting and thinking about everything. And seeing how everything come together. Because he liked to show everything in the prophecy form, man. And a lot of people didn't know. They said the Egyptians going to fight the Egyptians.
Right.
You know, that's the superpower versus the superpower at that time.
Exactly.
Now, look, here we are. The superpower fighting the superpower again. And it's just like the prophecy said, that and how many woes? 1, 2, we on the way to the third one. It's almost over.
Right.
You know, so it'd be tripping me out sometimes.
Because look what's happening. Hey, pull up, and I know we only got a few minutes left, but pull up number 13. I'm just going to show this real quick, right? Because this is from when Kenneth was talking about the segregation, the desegregation back during the time of Truman, right? And now it got what? Something got pushed back not too long ago by our good friend Donald Trump. We love Donald Trump around here. Yeah. I know black people, oh, Donald Trump is racist. Y'all just be quiet. Y'all just love Donald. That's what y'all got to do. For real. Hey, go ahead.
All right. Trump administration removes ban on segregated facilities in federal contracts.
Right. So a lot of people were saying that what? Now he's taking away, he's making segregation again. Not quite, but almost. Read that.
All right. Washington, March 18th. The administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has removed an explicit ban on segregated facilities like waiting rooms, restaurants, and drinking fountains for federal contractors. A memo issued by the U.S. General Services and Administrations showed.
Right. So what that's saying is that there was a desegregation order out, meaning that you couldn't have a waiting room, you couldn't have a restaurant that was just segregated, like no black people. Now what it's saying is that they have removed the explicit ban on that. So in reality, if a person didn't want you to be in a restaurant, they could say, well, we don't like you.
Right. Yeah, we don't like your kind here.
Right. And then you won't be able to say it. You'd be like, you can't do that. That's against the law. Right. They'll be like, no, it's not.
It's not.
We have the right to refuse service.
Exactly. To a nigga like you. Yeah. No, real talk. But this is just the beginning of it, right? So Donald Trump did something like this, but it is done in a way to where it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like ambiguous. It's not ambiguous, but you could. In other words, you have the right now to refuse, where you couldn't do it before.
Yeah.
Right. You can try to make somebody feel uncomfortable, but you can't really tell them, "Hey, you got to leave," because now they could bring in the police and lawyers and all. Now, no, this can happen.
Yeah. Now you got to drive 35 miles up the road to get you some nigga pie.
Right.
You can't have no more of that white
only pie.
Yeah. But I want the white ice. It's colder. Yo.
Hey, that's going to force us to come together, though.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
That is the point. The Lord said, gather yourselves together. And the people don't want to gather themselves together. They're like, oh, no, I like it over here a little bit better. But guess what? It's going to force us to get together. Right. But also what this is showing, when we're talking about the Egyptians against the Egyptians, because a lot of Edomites don't even like this. Yeah, they don't like this. They want to be around us.
Yeah.
They said it. I was watching something today. The lady said, she said, but what does that mean? If we get segregated, that means I got to be only with salt and black pepper, and I can't be with adobo and rest of all the other seasonings?
Yeah. I can't have Lawrence in my life?
Parsley? We are the parsley of the earth.
Right.
What?
But that's the reality.
How in the hell is we going to steal?
Exactly.
Who we going to steal from?
Yeah, who going to pay for all this? Who going to teach us how to dress and how to rap?
Right.
And how to dance. Where all this stuff going to cook? Because reality, that's why the Lord said we the salt of the earth.
Right.
Where the salt is lost and savor. You know what I mean? If we not, hey, I just messed that up.
But hey, listen. Sense, though. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Man, listen.
Oh, man. Hey, we coming to the end of it. But no, we got to get that. I messed that up.
Get it, man.
Matthew,
I wish I would
quick,
have did
salt
that.
of the earth.
Matthew.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 13.
All right.
Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
That's right.
It is henceforth good for nothing.
That's right.
But
So
to
that-
be
Go ahead.
But to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men.
Right. So what that's saying is that we the salt of the earth. Why? Because we keep the commandments. We showing that we are different from all the other nations. But just naturally, we different from all the other nations. That's why
Yeah.
we got that flavor, that flair. Right.
You see what it said? Without the salt, it's good for nothing.
That's right.
Hey, we don't want them niggas to go.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna be good for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Throw
why they
me
ain't
in
never
the
want us to
trash.
leave. They ain't never want us to leave. They said, man, get them niggas. Go back to Africa. I'm just playing.
Wherever we
Psych!
are, the
I was just fooling y'all.
Yeah, I was fooling. I was just funning. Yo, real talk.
Yeah,
Yo,
we are where the superpower is. Everywhere
yeah.
we go, you know. So
Yeah.
they not letting us go.
They not stupid, bro.
100%. 100%.
They know history.
Nope.
They see what's going on.
They know what the hell is going on. But all praises, yo. It was a great show tonight.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And this is a great Passover week. We in the Feast of Weeks right now.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. And again, we have a big audience. Y'all know why? Because there's food. We like to get
wings and things.
Wings and things. All praise to the Lord, they showed up. All praises to the Lord, they showed up. Hey, listen, we're going to take this time to do what? The Booster Club. Hey, matter of fact, hey, I want to show y'all something real quick. Bring up
Take your finger over.
Bring up number 14. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Bring up number 14. Everybody, please hit that QR code. Send that money into the Booster Club. We sending our brothers all over the world to teach and bring back the 12 tribes, right? We see what's going on, and we are to gather ourselves together. But we want to show y'all a clip of something that went on on one of those trips over in the land of Kenya. All right? Watch this, y'all.
Says God chose you, brother, in the yellow shirt, you, to be a
Pause real quick. Pause. Stop. So right now, so the brothers are in Kenya, they're teaching. If you go back a little bit, right, you see Nehemiah, right? Officer Nehemiah, he was already hit. Right? He was already hit at some point. So he's got his face covered. Got a bandage on there. Deacon Isaac is teaching, right? And you saw that man, he went and picked up a stone. So they're not throwing water bottles.
Right.
This is going back to the time of Stephen and all that. They're looking to put somebody down. Now, in them other countries, same thing like the land of Benjamin. We know all about that throwing rocks things. I already got hit in my eye like him a couple of times back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Have my thing swollen up. That's how it goes down out in these other countries. They going stones, machetes, and all of that. You know, out here in America, there's a lot of gunplay.
Hey, and
right?
if you look on that video and take it further a little bit, it's a law enforcement officer right there. They don't.
No. We
damn.
about to hit play. I just wanted to make sure everybody sees exactly what the hell is happening. Right? Go ahead, hit play again, y'all.
Says God chose you, brother, in the yellow shirt, you, to be a
He said, chose me. I chose a stone. Damn, so now they got a what? People already throwing stones. Look, tear gas is going on. Right? Law enforcement, ain't right. Trying to calm everything down. Right? I don't know who the hell threw that tear gas. Again, we're gonna find out the story later. But now look, but hold on, we could drop that. We can drop it because that was like they were showing that before they were interviewing Bishop, and the whole crowd basically turned against them. You know what I mean? You had women out there, they were mad talking about Jesus is white. When they were saying Jesus is black, they said, no, Jesus is white. And stoning brothers for that. So when we telling y'all that the money, that's where we sending brothers, so they has it in their lives. Don't feel no way to send that bread. We still going. Just because y'all seen it, don't mean we ain't going no more. We're going to keep going. The Lord is just, The Lord is just,
That's right.
He just getting us ready for what is the inevitable. And, you know, brothers going to lose their life doing this, right? And we saying it like that, not as like you're trying to be, tough, but that's just the reality. So you see the what am I saying? The progression, right? And it's going to get to that at some point, but we still got to go. So just let y'all understand that we the prophets of God. We the prophets of God, period. Right? Send
That's
that money.
right.
Yeah, send that bread,
money.
man.
Don't feel no way.
You want that scripture in Acts 14?
All right.
Send that bread, man.
Yup. Yeah, and send up prayers for the brothers. Send up prayers
Loose
for
thy
us.
money for thy neighbor.
That's it. All praises. Yup. All right, go to the next one. Our next
one.
Yeah. Because I think we got to beg for some money too. Come on, y'all. These guys are slow.
Yeah, they said they had it all under control.
Nah, there you go. All right, so we need a little something too. All right, donate and support the show, the Nehemiah Squad. All right, send anything you have or all you have to iuic.norcal@israelunite.org. All right, or hit that QR code and send with little, just a little something to help. Send most of it to the Booster Club, but save us a couple of pennies as well. All right, and throw up the thumbnail for next week's show. All right. So next week we have our guest, Lisa Diaz McQuaid. Right. This one is going to be called "Prey of an Evil System." Indigenous lives stolen, and where we're going to be discussing a lot of the Gadite sisters that are killed, murdered, and then there's no real investigation that goes on into them being killed, murdered, or even kidnapped or human trafficked, right? And there's no real investigation going on. They chalk it up as to, oh yeah, maybe she was on drugs or whatever the case may be. So we got Lisa Diaz McQuaid. She works with them daily, a lot of different organizations, and she's going to be here also with another sister named Desiree. And it's going to be a great show next week, for real.
Yep. It's going to be great. Another one like the other one.
We got to bring the books out on this one.
Oh yeah,
Bring the books out.
Oh yeah. We're gonna be bringing out much history. And she actually told me that. I spoke to her on the phone. She was like, she want to bring out some historical facts. I was like, oh, okay, that's what we want to do also.
Let's do it.
Yeah. It's gonna be very lovely.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. So all praises. Shout out to everybody who showed up tonight to keep the Passover going as well.
Sir.
All right. All praises. And with that, hey, Officer Shem, bro, take us out, man.
Oh man. Here we go.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 21. Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you.
If you do this thing again, right, we got to lay hands on you. If you don't donate here to the Booster Club, we got to lay hands on you. Mr. White Man, if you keep on stealing our history, bump that. We got to lay hands on you. Hey, this is the Nehemiah Squad. We are your hosts. I'm your Officer Shim, Captain Zakai, Officer Judah, and we out this thing.
Yes. Most High Christ bless.
Even the evil spend holy days away from the heathen. I need a break. I don't need a reason. I need a script. I don't need your grievance. Keep it to yourself. It's better for nothing else. Tonight and tonight, knowing the price, pay it all for my life. Till it's out with your life. Do it all for the Christ, and he ain't playing nice. Knew the end from the start. Fix your face like it's art. The sons of a simp, call him Bart. Yeah, you did your best, played your part. But now it's time to cut you to the heart. Flex on occasion. It's the strangeness of the salvation. You see it, believe it, amazing. Them terrorists coming invasion since the creation. War, mine, Lord, bless the general. Greatest nation, eat them unequivocal. Bombs dropping, buddy, cause it's biblical. Start shit, now it's time to finish. Whoa. Said he won't woke, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world.
can't wait for our kingdom to start and for there to be finished. Get rid of all of their idols and lying religions. Look for the crown like an Edris. Hey, this that crown talk. Wisdom of Solomon 5 talk. This that second Edris 6 and 9. We want eyes talk. It's your time to end and my time again. It's our time to win. Away with the sin. You know what it is. Rejoice with my kin. See that is why we repented. Go to streets, I can see myself in it. The city is bright, the kingdom of light. A wonderful sight past the angels, the inner light. I need 1,000 years of labor. Sit on my throne with my savior. Try to know wine, press alone. He bring pain like major. You think the nations is equal to us? TK Kirkland, who raised you? Flex on occasion, my God a racist. That's why we moving with patience. It's been a long time coming. I spent my whole life running. Now that I'm 10 toes down and established my faith on 100. Woe to the nations, my king will race them. You know they gotta be punished. Jeremiah 25, yeah, you know they gon' fry. Whoa!